So tariffs on physical goods impacting a digital ad giant like Meta doesn't exactly scream obvious connection, right?
Not at all. It sounds almost backwards at first. But here we are, looking at a potential $7 billion revenue hit.
Right? And it all ties back to how Chinese retailers advertise globally, especially on Meta's platforms.
Exactly. Think of Tima and Shine, huge digital ad spenders trying to reach consumers outside China.
And where do they go? Straight to Instagram and Facebook. The reach is massive.
But if tariffs are squeezing their margins, what's the first thing to get slashed?
Advertising budgets. They're flexible and fast to cut when times get tough.
That's the scary part for Meta. A lot of that $18 billion from China-linked revenue could vanish.
Especially when you realize Meta's not even in China. It's all cross-border ad dollars.
Which makes it kind of a stealth vulnerability, doesn't it?
Completely. One shift in trade policy and suddenly digital ad revenue plummets.
Moffett-Nathanson's analysis really drove that home. And that $7 billion, that's just the start.
Right? Because if we slide into a recession too, they warn of a $23 billion hit.
That's a quarter of Meta's total ad revenue. Massive.
And not just from China. A global downturn would tighten ad budgets everywhere.
So Meta's facing this two-pronged threat, economic and geopolitical.
They call it a dual headwind. Pretty ominous name.
And yet, despite all that, the analysts didn't downgrade Meta. Still a buy.
But they did lower their target price a lot, down to $525.
Which signals caution, like, yeah, we believe in Meta long term, but buckle up for some bumps.
And investors are already reacting. Stocks dropped 19% since Trump's second term began.
That's no coincidence. Markets are clearly nervous.
And next week's earnings call will be critical. Everyone's watching that closely.
Especially for any clues on China-linked ad spending and Meta's broader outlook.
So zooming out, the big takeaway is how digital platforms can be hit hard by trade moves.
Even if they're not directly involved in the trade itself, that's the twist.
It shows how deeply interconnected everything is. Tech, trade, politics, spending.
Makes you wonder how many other companies have similar hidden dependencies.
Exactly. It's not just about where your users are, it's where your advertisers are spending.
And how stable those budgets really are when global tensions rise.
So maybe the big question now is, how do global tech firms shield themselves?
Or at least prepare for shocks like this, because the ripple effects are real.
Something every investor and exec should be thinking about.
Definitely. More than ever, the digital economy is tied to real-world politics.
And that makes navigating it way more complex than just coding and clicks.